The other big headline for former President Trump, newly revealed text messages are showing just how far the Trump White House may have been willing to go to try and overturn the 2020 election. The texts obtained by CNN were some of more than 2,000 messages turned over to the January 6th Select Committee by former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Let's bring in NBC News reporter Julie Tsirkin for more on this. Hey, Julie, good morning. So first, we want to point out that NBC News has not been able to independently confirm the authenticity of all the text messages. We've reached out for comment, but please tell us what these text messages do reveal. Who are they from? What are they saying? What are they discussing?
Yeah, good morning, Savannah. Well, the first thing to remember here is that these text messages are all things that Mark Meadows himself turned over to the committee willingly in that brief period of time that he was cooperating with the investigators on the January 6th Select Committee. And the thing that kind of surprised me the most in this was just the sheer amount of pleas from Republican lawmakers who were in the building, in the Capitol at the time of the insurrection, pleading with Mark Meadows, the former president's chief of staff, to ask President Trump to call off these supporters, to call off the riots. And things surprised me the most, like these texts from Marjorie Taylor Greene, who publicly, of course, defended many of these protesters. But as you could see on your screen, she said, quote, "This isn't the way to solve anything. Please tell the president to calm people down." Of course, that's not something we've ever heard publicly from her. And there's other text messages here from other lawmakers as well that we've reached out to, but we haven't heard back yet.
We also, I know within these text messages, got new insight into how the White House may have tried to persuade state officials in places like Georgia and Arizona to negate the will of their voters. What do these texts show about those efforts?
Well, I think it shows just how far this escalation went to pressure these state officials. Of course, we know in one state like Georgia, the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, had that widely reported phone call with President Trump in January, where he personally tried to pressure him to overturn the election results for President Biden. But here we know that Mark Meadows actually reached out to him in the months prior as well. We see this sort of building escalation. He texted, according to these text messages that we were actually able to verify with Raffensperger himself in December, asking him to please call the White House. Your voicemail is full. Raffensperger, according to him, did not reply to those text messages. And we see this sort of pattern of Trump's allies and aides and using up all these resources in the White House in the months after the election to sort of pressure these election officials to overturn the will of the people in those states.
Now, the texts also show how conspiracy theories really took hold in the Trump White House on issues like voting machines. Tell us what the messages say.
This one was really interesting. We see top political aides like Jason Miller in these text messages telling Mark Meadows that he sort of did his research on these conspiracy theories at the behest of former President Trump. In one text message, he told him that he did a, quote, backgrounder on those Dominion voting machines that widely spread conspiracy theory that those voting machines were somehow hacked or fraudulent. The interesting thing here is that Miller says that he doesn't find those conspiracies credible in his research, but leaves it up to Meadows whether to share this report with former President Trump. And he says, of course, that the former president was, quote, hyped up on these conspiracy theories. He called his aides often about them. These text messages show to sort of do this research and do their due diligence and look into these reports, which Miller here is saying weren't even credible. But to please the former president, he was leaving it up to the chief of staff as to whether to share these findings with him.
Julie Tsirkin, thousands literally of messages to go through. Thank you for bringing us some details there.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.